Ever felt like your child trusted you with a secret, only for it to slip out accidentally? You're not alone. Studies show that 9 out of 10 parents unintentionally break their child's confidence, often without realizing the long-term impact. Whether it's sharing a story with relatives, reacting too emotionally, or giving advice prematurely, these slip-ups can affect trust and communication. Understanding the common pitfalls and how to prevent them is key to nurturing a safe, open relationship with your child. One of the most common ways parents unintentionally break their child's confidence is by over-sharing details about their child's life with others. It often begins with what seems like harmless conversation. Parents may excitedly tell friends or relatives about something funny, impressive, or concerning that happened at school, with the belief that sharing creates connection and pride. For example, a parent might recount a child's latest achievement to friends at a dinner party, or casually mention a misstep to a sibling, thinking it's trivial or even funny. However, from a child's perspective, these moments can feel like a betrayal. What they considered private suddenly becomes public, and the sense of safety that allowed them to open up in the first place is compromised. Children need to feel that their thoughts, feelings, and experiences are respected and protected. When a parent casually shares information without the child's consent, it can erode trust in subtle ways. The child may start questioning whether it's safe to confide in their parent again, fearing judgment or exposure. Sharing doesn't always have to be intentional or dramatic to have an impact. Even seemingly insignificant details, like mentioning a child's embarrassment in a social situation or a private opinion about a classmate, can leave lasting impressions. Children are highly sensitive to the reactions of those around them, and when they perceive that their personal experiences are being discussed with others, they may begin to censor themselves or withdraw entirely. This reaction can be especially pronounced in teenagers, who are developing their sense of independence and privacy. A parent's casual storytelling can inadvertently send the message that their child's life is not entirely their own, undermining their autonomy and personal boundaries. Moreover, oversharing can create social repercussions for the child. Friends, classmates, or extended family members might interpret these disclosures differently than intended, which can lead to misunderstandings, teasing, or even hurt feelings. Parents may intend to celebrate or seek advice, but the child experiences exposure and vulnerability. The psychological effect of such breaches can linger, as children often internalize the idea that their feelings and experiences aren't safe or respected. This can make them hesitant to trust others, not just their parents, and impact their willingness to communicate openly in the future. Preventing this breach of trust requires mindfulness and self-restraint. Parents need to recognize that the urge to share is often rooted in pride, concern, or excitement, rather than a need for their child's story to be told. Pausing to consider how the child would feel if they knew their private experience was being discussed is a crucial step. Involving children in decisions about what is shared and what remains private can also strengthen trust. Asking simple questions like, "Is it okay if I tell Aunt Lisa about this?" validates the child's right to privacy and models respectful communication. By consistently demonstrating discretion, parents teach children that their feelings and experiences are valuable and deserving of protection. Over time, this conscious practice of preserving confidentiality nurtures a secure environment in which children feel comfortable sharing openly. It communicates that parents respect their individuality and boundaries, which is foundational for healthy emotional development. When children trust that their personal information will be kept safe, They are more likely to be honest about challenges, fears, or mistakes, allowing parents to provide genuine support rather than reactive control. Ultimately, avoiding the instinct to share isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about building a lasting relationship grounded in respect, trust, and understanding. Another way parents often unintentionally break their child's confidence is by reacting too emotionally to what their child shares. When children confide in a parent, they are placing a tremendous amount of trust in that adult. Whether it's sharing a personal struggle, admitting a mistake, or revealing an embarrassing situation, the child is opening themselves up and exposing vulnerability. Parents, naturally invested in their child's well-being, may respond with intense emotions such as anger, disappointment, worry, or even panic. While these reactions come from a place of care, they can have unintended consequences. The child may feel judged, overwhelmed, or shamed, even if the parent's intention was to guide or protect them. Over time, these strong emotional responses can create a barrier to open communication, as children may begin to anticipate judgment or overreaction and choose to withhold their thoughts altogether. For instance, if a child admits to struggling in school or making a social mistake, a parent's immediate reaction might be loud frustration or visible worry. The child, instead of feeling supported, may experience anxiety about disappointing the parent. Even well-meaning advice or attempts to solve the problem instantly can be perceived as criticism. In these moments, the child's focus shifts from seeking understanding to managing the parent's emotions. This dynamic not only interrupts the natural flow of conversation, but also teaches the child to self-censor, fearing that sharing their feelings or challenges will trigger an emotional storm. The result is a breakdown of trust, where the child no longer feels safe expressing vulnerability. It's important to recognize that emotional reactions are normal and human, but managing them in a deliberate way is crucial when dealing with children. Parents who take a step back, breathe, and approach the conversation with calm curiosity rather than immediate judgment are more likely to maintain trust. Asking questions like, "Can you tell me more about what happened?" Or, "How did that make you feel?" shifts the focus from the parent's emotional response to the child's experience. This validates the child's feelings and signals that their perspective is being heard and respected. Children learn that sharing their struggles is not only safe but welcomed, which reinforces confidence and strengthens the parent-child bond. Additionally, staying composed allows parents to model emotional regulation for their children. When children see adults handle situations with patience and thoughtfulness, they internalize strategies for managing their own emotions in challenging moments. This teaches resilience and problem-solving while showing that emotional honesty can coexist with stability and understanding. Conversely, unchecked emotional reactions can inadvertently teach children that expressing vulnerability leads to conflict or disapproval, creating a cycle of secrecy and suppressed emotions. Parents can also practice separating the behavior or situation from the child's character. By focusing on the issue at hand rather than labeling the child as bad or careless, parents communicate that their love and respect remain constant, even when mistakes occur. This distinction is critical for maintaining trust. Children need to feel that their worth is not contingent on perfection, and that their parents' guidance does not come at the expense of their confidence. Ultimately, managing emotional reactions is about creating a safe space for communication. By responding with calm, active listening, and empathy, parents can nurture openness and honesty. Children who trust that their emotions and experiences will be met with understanding, rather than overwhelming judgment, are more likely to share freely. This approach not only protects the child's confidence, but also fosters a deeper, more resilient connection, allowing parents to guide, support, and advise effectively without inadvertently eroding the trust that is essential for a healthy relationship. Parents often unintentionally break their child's confidence by giving unsolicited advice instead of truly listening. When a child shares a problem, worry, or personal experience, the instinctive reaction for many parents is to immediately offer solutions or fix the situation. While this response comes from a desire to help, it can inadvertently communicate to the child that their feelings or opinions are less important than the parent's guidance. Children may interpret this as a dismissal of their experience, leaving them feeling unheard or invalidated. Over time, this pattern can create a barrier to open communication, as children may begin to withhold information to avoid unsolicited opinions or solutions that don't address their emotional needs. The tendency to give immediate advice can be particularly detrimental when the issue involves complex emotions or social dynamics. For example, a child who is upset about a disagreement with a friend may not be looking for instructions on how to resolve it. They may simply want to feel understood. By jumping in with advice, parents risk shifting the focus away from the child's feelings and toward problem solving, which may feel premature or irrelevant to the child. This reaction, though well-intentioned, can make children perceive their emotions as inconvenient or secondary, reducing their willingness to share vulnerable thoughts in the future. Furthermore, it subtly communicates that the parent's perspective is more important than the child's own understanding of the situation, which can undermine their confidence in their judgment and feelings. Active listening is a powerful tool for avoiding this common pitfall. By truly hearing the child without interruption or immediate solutions, parents create a safe environment where feelings and perspectives are valued. Reflective responses such as, "It sounds like that really upset you," or "I can see why you felt that way," validate the child's experience without imposing a judgment or solution. This approach allows the child to process their emotions while feeling supported, rather than corrected. Over time, children learn that their thoughts and feelings are respected, which encourages ongoing honesty and transparency. It's also important to recognize the difference between supporting and solving. Supportive parenting involves offering guidance only when requested or after the child has had space to express themselves fully. Asking questions like, "Would you like me to give advice, or do you just want me to listen?" empowers the child to decide how much parental input they want. This not only preserves their confidence, but also teaches autonomy, helping them develop problem-solving skills while knowing they have a trusted ally. When children feel that their emotional needs are prioritized over immediate solutions, they are more likely to engage in open conversations and share sensitive information without fear of judgment or dismissal. Another subtle consequence of unsolicited advice is that it can create a sense of dependency. Children may begin to rely on the parent to fix issues instead of building confidence in their own decision-making abilities. By giving space for children to reflect, analyze, and even make mistakes, parents foster independence and resilience. Children learn that their thoughts, feelings, and decisions matter, and that they are capable of handling challenges while still having the parent's support. Ultimately, avoiding unsolicited advice strengthens trust and protects the child's confidence. It demonstrates that the parent values the child's perspective and prioritizes their emotional safety. By focusing on listening, empathy, and patient guidance, parents can nurture an environment where children feel free to share openly and honestly. This approach not only safeguards their confidence, but also fosters emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and a deep, enduring bond built on respect, understanding, and mutual trust. Parents often unintentionally break their child's confidence by assuming that knowing something about their child gives them the automatic right to share it. This assumption can arise in everyday situations, such as discussing grades, friendships, or personal struggles. For example, a parent may feel justified in telling a relative about a child's recent accomplishment, challenge, or even mistake, believing that sharing is harmless or even helpful. From the parent's perspective, the intent may be to celebrate, seek advice, or simply talk about family life. However, children often experience these disclosures very differently. What may seem like a casual story to the parent can feel like a breach of trust to the child, making them question whether anything they share privately will remain confidential. This sense of exposure can erode their willingness to confide in the parent in the future. The issue is compounded when parents share sensitive information without considering the child's feelings or consent. Children are learning to navigate personal boundaries, and they rely on adults to model respectful behavior. When parents assume that knowledge equals consent, it teaches the child that their privacy is negotiable or unimportant. Over time, this can damage the parent-child relationship, leaving children hesitant to open up about challenges, mistakes, or emotions. They may begin to censor their thoughts, share only superficial information, or avoid certain topics entirely, out of fear that the parent will broadcast what they've learned. Even if parents do not intend harm, the perception of a lack of respect for privacy is enough to undermine confidence and trust. Respecting a child's privacy involves more than simply avoiding harmful disclosures. It requires actively seeking permission before sharing information. Simple questions like, "Is it okay if I tell Grandma about your science project?" Or, "Do you want me to talk to your teacher about this? Or would you rather handle it yourself?" Give children control over their own experiences. This approach reinforces the idea that their feelings, opinions, and personal experiences matter. By involving children in decisions about what is shared, parents teach the importance of boundaries and consent, both essential skills for healthy relationships inside and outside the family. Moreover, respecting privacy helps children develop a sense of autonomy and responsibility. When they know they have control over how their personal information is shared, they feel empowered rather than powerless. This empowerment encourages them to make thoughtful decisions, communicate openly, and trust that their parent values their perspective. In contrast, failing to respect these boundaries can foster resentment or secrecy, as children may feel that they have little agency over how they are perceived by others. Maintaining trust requires consistent awareness and consideration, which ultimately benefits both the child's confidence and the overall quality of the parent-child relationship. Parents must also recognize that even well-meaning disclosures can carry unintended consequences. Friends, relatives, or colleagues may interpret shared information differently than intended, leading to embarrassment, misunderstandings, or social complications for the child. Children are acutely aware of these social dynamics, and knowing that private details might be shared can heighten anxiety or self-consciousness. By prioritizing the child's comfort and asking for consent before discussing sensitive topics, parents foster a safe environment where children feel their thoughts and experiences are protected. Ultimately, understanding that knowledge does not equal consent is crucial for nurturing trust and confidence. Children who feel that their privacy is respected are more likely to be open, honest, and confident in sharing their lives with their parents. This approach not only safeguards their emotional well-being, but also reinforces a foundation of respect, empathy, and mutual understanding. By modeling discretion and honoring boundaries, parents demonstrate that trust is earned and maintained, helping children feel secure in expressing themselves freely without fear of judgment or exposure. Even the most careful parents can accidentally break a child's confidence. And one of the most overlooked ways this happens is by failing to apologize after a slip. Mistakes are inevitable. Sometimes a parent might inadvertently share a private detail, react too strongly, or give advice when it wasn't wanted. What often matters most to the child is how the parent responds afterward. Ignoring the mistake, downplaying it, or brushing it off can communicate to the child that their feelings don't matter, reinforcing a sense of vulnerability and mistrust. A sincere apology, on the other hand, acknowledges the breach of trust and models accountability, teaching children that it's possible to make mistakes, take responsibility, and rebuild relationships. Apologizing for breaking confidence does more than just repair the immediate damage. It demonstrates that the parent values the child's feelings and respects the trust that was placed in them. Children are highly perceptive and notice whether apologies are genuine or superficial. A thoughtful apology shows empathy, conveys understanding of the impact the slip had on the child, and reassures them that their privacy and feelings are important. This act of acknowledgement is crucial, as it prevents the child from internalizing guilt, shame, or the fear that expressing themselves will always result in exposure or embarrassment. It reinforces the message that trust is fragile, but repairable when handled with care and honesty. The process of apologizing also provides a valuable teaching moment for children. By modeling accountability, parents show that everyone makes mistakes, and that taking responsibility is a key part of maintaining healthy relationships. Children observe not only the words of the apology, but also the tone, sincerity, and subsequent behavior. When a parent genuinely acknowledges their error and demonstrates improved discretion moving forward, the child learns that mistakes do not define the relationship or the person. This helps foster emotional resilience, teaching the child that it's safe to make mistakes, seek forgiveness, and continue trusting others despite occasional breaches of confidence. Failing to apologize can have long-term consequences. Children may begin to perceive their feelings as unimportant or develop a habit of withholding information to avoid judgment or disappointment. This can lead to increased secrecy, reduced communication, and strained relationships, as the child may feel that vulnerability is risky or unwelcome. By contrast, a timely and sincere apology can transform a negative experience into an opportunity for growth, deepening the child's sense of security and reinforcing the bond between parent and child. It shows that the parent is attentive, empathetic, and committed to maintaining trust. Apologizing after a breach of confidence also sets a standard for mutual respect and ethical behavior. Children internalize the value of honesty, accountability, and integrity through parental modeling. When they see that their parent owns mistakes and takes steps to correct them, they learn the importance of doing the same in their own relationships. This not only strengthens their confidence in themselves, but also equips them with skills for navigating social interactions, friendships, and future relationships. Children understand that trust is built over time, can be broken, but can also be repaired when approached with care and responsibility. Ultimately, failing to apologize can exacerbate a breach of confidence, while a sincere acknowledgement of a mistake can transform the experience into a powerful lesson in trust, empathy, and relationship building. By owning errors, expressing remorse, and committing to improved behavior, parents safeguard their child's confidence, demonstrate the value of honesty, and cultivate a secure environment in which children feel safe to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This deliberate approach ensures that trust remains a cornerstone of the parent-child relationship, fostering long-term emotional resilience and open communication.